What's up? How you doing? Here we are gonna make some tea right now. It's one of those nights where tea fits well. Red Rose original tea. Start this up. That's nice. I like this. You know, when you look at this from the top, it looks like NASA space shuttle engines. So, that should be done in a couple of minutes. We'll do time dilation. It's hot. I can feel that handle. That was hot. The steam, you know, the steam hits it. Put that over there. I love tea. I remember I would go down to Chinatown, and they had this big store, and on the second floor they had a book about that thick with different teas, and then the Chinese lady would hand me the book, and I would flip through it, and I would pick teas. I'd say, give me that one, give me that one, give me whatever, and then she would get a little I don't know, like a shovel thing. And they had these little bags, like Ziploc bags, and she'd fill them up with the tea I chose, and then write in magic marker, what the tea's name was, and then she'd go ring it up. Whew, that's hot. I'm not going to drink that right away. So today I was thinking about a show I used to watch, The Greatest American Hero. I think it came out in '81, somewhere around there. I used to like that show. I still like that show. I haven't seen it in decades, but I remember, and I liked it back then, and I think I would like it now. So the main character, he was a teacher, and somehow he comes in contact with some alien life, some spaceship, and he gets handed a briefcase. Inside there is a red superhero outfit with some weird thing in the front. Looks like a bug. But he drops the manual, the instructions manual. I don't know if it's like a VHS tape. Drops it, and which was a good idea on the show's part, because that way, every so often, if you come up with a new idea for a power, you can add it in there. Because he wouldn't know if he had that or not, since he lost the manual. And he was a clumsy flyer. He was always crashing into things, and it was always like, you know, like he was lit when he was flying. But he had these powers, and it was a cool show. Cool show. It didn't last long, but I did enjoy it while it was on. And I remember on that show, one of the students was the guy that ended up playing Eddie Wilson, Eddie and the Cruisers, which I love that movie. Love that movie. And good actor. I actually emailed him one time, and I said to him, what's going on with the part 3, Eddie and the Cruisers 3? And he emailed me back. And he said, if somebody comes up to me and makes me that offer, I'm in. Because nobody made him the offer. I love any of the cruisers, especially the first one. And today I heard, you know, Ray Liotta died. Like that movie Goodfellas. Yep. So let's see. It was hot when I took it out, but it's still hot. Still hot because I made it with fire. Yeah, a few shows I missed, but today's shows, they're not self-contained. They have continuity. You know, each show depends on the previous show for the plot. In my time, it wasn't like that. Every show stood alone. So if you didn't watch a series and somebody said, oh, you have to watch this television show, they just explained to you a couple of things. You turn it on and you knew what was happening. Now you have to know the backstory. They're like soap operas now. Like watching General Hospital. But yeah, now you have to follow them. And right now I enjoy 911, the one in LA and the one in Texas there. Was it Austin or Houston? I like that show. Hot. I remember another show I used to enjoy. It used to come on Sunday nights, 7:30. And I always watched it with the lights off in my room. I had this chair that would spin. I would sit there and watch it. And the show was called In Search Of. Leonard Nimoy narrated. And they always looked into these weird, you know, events, mysterious events on the planet. They had UFOs, they had the Bermuda Triangle, Easter Island, you name it, they had it. And it was very eerie, you know, it was like that, you know, a bit creepy. So I used to watch it all the time. I actually went and bought the entire series, and I have it on DVD. But when I see it now, because 99.6% of the stuff they showed, I do not believe in. They were all made up. But back when you were a kid, you know, they seem more believable. Yeah, I used to like that show, In Search Of. And a lot of times, I'd be the only one home. My parents would go somewhere, and I'd say, you guys go, I'm all set. And I'd sit there watching it, and then you start watching these weird things, you know, like every sound in the house, you think somebody was trying to get in, just from watching that show, In Search Of. And you know, for me, Star Trek, not really a fan of those kind of, you know, shows. I kind of like the theme song to that and William Shatner's narration at the beginning. But my favorite character, Mr. Spock. You know, and I was listening to Leonard Nimoy a while back talk about his character, and they were saying that the network, they wanted to cancel his character. They wanted to get rid of it because he said the Bible Belt, the people in the South, they viewed him as demonic with the ears and the eyebrows and all of that. So they wanted to get rid of him, and then they realized how popular he was, so they kept him. Good choice, Mr. Spock. Wouldn't be the same without him. Getting better. Yeah, good shows. Remember Marcus Welby, MD? Compassionate Doctor. That was a creepy opening too. Like getting into his car and driving off. Almost like he killed somebody in that house and was escaping. I used to watch Father Knows Best. And mentioning Father Knows Best, a show that I was a crazy fan of when I was a kid, Leave It to Beaver. I was a huge fan of Leave It to Beaver. It would come on twice a day in my town, and I'd watch both shows, and I couldn't get enough of it. And back then there was no internet. We can go on Wikipedia and look up interesting facts. So I had a neighbor, and I went over his house, and I said, "Can you go and call up the television station and ask them questions about Leave It to Beaver?" And I gave him a list of questions, how many episodes there were, what year they were on and on. And he actually called up and gave me notes at the end of the day of the information he acquired. And he was the one that would tell me, people were fresh. But yeah, he told me, this many episodes, it was on these many years, and I loved that show. One of my favorite episodes, I loved all the episodes, but one of my favorite ones was the ones that he would have interaction with Gus the Fireman, especially the one with the bunnies. There was an episode where he touched the bunnies, and then the mother, the big bunny, would not feed them, would not go near them, because they had a human smell. And so he went down to the firehouse where he talked to the wise old man named Gus the Fireman. I don't know what kind of fireman that guy was, because he looked like he was like 80 years old. So, but anyway, Gus told him to either, he said, put cologne on them or talcum powder to make them all smell the same, and then put some of that on the mother's nose. And he did, and then the mother started feeding them again because she thought they were hers again. And then Father Ward Cleaver, he noticed the smell, and he did a little investigation and found out what happened. But I liked that episode. But like I said, I liked them all. I was a huge fan of that show. Even the theme song, I love that theme song. Leave It to Beaver. I used to watch all those shows. The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. Father Knows Best. Lucy, I Love Lucy. Life of Riley was another show I'd watch. I used to watch all those shows. They used to come on the stations that I couldn't catch well, but I would mess around with the rabbit ear antennas, and I'd watch all of those old shows. It's another one I used to watch. Of course, the westerns: Bonanza, Big Valley, The Rifleman. Trying to think. All the cartoons that were old. I like that Mixie and Pinksy, Jinx the Cat. I used to love watching those. Those were like so fascinating to me. I'd get home from school and adjust my TV, and I'd watch Jinx the Cat, Mixie and Dixie and Pixie. And then there was one, Little Audrey. And in the cartoon, she was so annoyed that it was raining outside. She wanted to go out and play, so she begged and begged for the rainmaker to stop the rain, and he did. And then she noticed how awful it was without any rain. All the flowers were begging for water, and then she went up somewhere and she told him, "Please make it rain," and he did. I used to watch that. What else? Of course, the Flintstones. Even take a Flintstones vitamin. The Jetsons. What else was on back in those days? Trying to think. I know, the classic ones, but I didn't watch them on those channels like Scooby-Doo. And Scooby-Doo was my favorite and the Flintstones, but Scooby-Doo was the way I see the world, where everything that falls in that category that they were afraid of has a logical explanation, everything like that. At the end of the show, they always discovered that it was human beings, creating the ghosts, always, and that's how it is in real life. the Huckleberry Hound, and then Snaggapus. Exit stage left. It's another old one. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I see them now, you know, once in a while on YouTube, and they bring back memories. Enjoyable time. Good years back then. Good years. Lots of freedom. If you were a kid back when I grew up, there was a lot of freedom. A lot of freedom to play. You know, not like now. And I know some kids back in my time grew up like the kids growing up now, where their parents constantly like, "Where'd you go? What'd you do?" You know, they'd be in the yard and they'd look out the window to see that they were still there. Not at my house. In my house, I was never around growing up. I had a really good childhood. It was very fun. Lots of freedom. Lots of freedom. And not just me. Pretty much everybody in my neighborhood. But there were a few kids that their parents were like, you know, chaperones all the time watching them. We grew up, me and my friends, we grew up like the Peanuts. You know, where the parents were in the background, if at all. I mean, I spent time with my parents, but that was like if we were doing something together, you know, going somewhere. But generally, when I was out playing, I was out with my friends. My parents weren't around watching me. That did not happen. I would not have appreciated, you know, that kind of a upbringing. Yeah, I had a lot of freedom. Can't tell you how many places I've been to when I was a kid. Far away from my house, nobody knew. Nowadays, they hunt you down. They got the bloodhounds out. They got the cell phone trackers. They will find you. But when I grew up, they had no idea. I said to my mother, "Where is he?" She's like, "Oh, he's out there. He's playing somewhere." And nobody said, "Where were you today? I didn't see you. I came looking for you." Nope. Nobody came looking. Time to make dinner. But tonight is going to be an easy one. I went and bought top of the line cold cuts. Top of the line. You know, I went to Italy, that place, and I got some really good cold cuts. Roast beef, mortadella. I got mozzarella, cheese, fresh, homemade. They make it. It was not really homemade. It's actually made in that building. It's not like somebody took it to their home and made it. And then I got some cheese, really good cheese, and I got good bread, really good bread. So I will be making sandwiches tonight, which we haven't had in a very long time. But I got quality cuts of meat. So that's it. That's what I'm gonna do.